Hi, Kayla. Thanks for joining us. First of all, what have you been up to?
I just got back from school. We've been off for a week now from training, and I just got back from CONCACAF qualifiers. So now we've just been studying for exams.
Yeah. So a busy period, I suppose.
Yeah.
And that, what with soccer on the side as well. How are you balancing everything?
It's definitely difficult, but I've had pretty supportive teachers and like coaches, so everyone's pretty much understanding about everything, and my parents as well.
Good. Um, so let's go right back to the start then. When you wanted to go into soccer first, how did it all begin, and how has that led you on your pathway to now, where you are part student, part soccer player with big aspirations?
Yeah, I started playing soccer back when I was 3, I think it was, and my mom was a soccer player, and my dad was actually a hockey player, so then they kinda put me into both sports when I was really young, and then I played soccer and hockey up until I was 13, and then eventually I realized soccer was what I was better at and I enjoyed it more, so then, I decided to stick with soccer, and then from there, just things, like, took off.
Good. So what made you stick? Was it the people? Was it the game itself? Yeah. What kind of what kept you in?
Well, the big thing for me was it was the transition year kind of into OPDL, and I was playing at Leaside Tigers before, which is just like a rep team, but then actually Mark Monder, like, reached out and was interested in having me, come out for, like, a tryout at NT, so then from there, I made the OPDL team, and then I just realized, like, this is what I wanna do.
Excellent. Um, so talk us through how your journey to North Toronto soccer started. Then, what were the initial conversations? Do you remember them? And how when you made that transition?
Yeah, when I first came into North Toronto, I didn't know much about positioning, like, anything really. Like, my mom was the coach of the team I played at before, so no discredit to her, but, like, we didn't know, like, too much about positioning and stuff, but when I came, I remember Mark, like, telling me he could see me in a bunch of different positions and just, like, seeing me being an impactful player, and it just, like, really excited me.
So when you take that into consideration, what he said to you then, and where you are now, are you proud of yourself? Do you see that he had some knowledge and he said the right things?
Yeah, he definitely did because, like, even now, I'm still, like, I can be put in either attacking midfielder, winger, striker, so Mark was definitely very right about that, and he, like, really got it going for me.
Good. So you when you went into the North Toronto Nitros program, then how did things develop? What was the playing experience like?
Yeah, already going in, it was way more of, like, an intense environment, very competitive, but also just very welcoming too, like, going into a more challenging environment, like, can be scary, but, like, the coaches, the players, everyone was just super welcoming, so it was, like, less scary than I, like, imagined it would be.
So, how long in total then were you at the club?
I joined so U13, and then I think I left when I was about 17, 16, around there, so a good amount of years.
Excellent. So, during those times, what are the highs that you remember, and the highlights and the achievements or anything that you found sticks out to you?
Yeah, one of the big things was our semifinal match, Charity Shield, against Markham, which was our big rivals, and I had a broken toe actually, so I was out for 4 weeks leading up to it, but then, Mark said, "If, like, we're down or we're tied or something, like, we'll put you in," because it still, like, really hadn't fully recovered, but I really wanted to play, and next thing you know, I came on and we're down 1-0, but we get a free kick and we ended up scoring like a 90-minute goal, which sent us to extra time and then eventually to PKs, and we ended up winning in PKs. So it was really cool.
Wow. So, a special achievement that all of you will hold for a long time.
Yeah.
Good. So, what about the lows then? Are there any difficulties during that period that perhaps shaped you as a player, and perhaps the club helped you through?
Yeah, I think one thing was just obviously like we were a pretty dominant team like throughout the seasons that we played, but we always couldn't beat Markham. They were like our big rivals. And it was just like frustrating when we'd lose to them, but the coaches were always super like positive and they would always just keep like reassuring us that we can do it. And we leading up to like the weeks when we'd play against them, like we'd put in like we'd study like what we need to do against them, look at like what our press needed to be, all different things like that to get ready and be prepared. And it made us feel like confident.
So, what are the biggest things from, because soccer's a team game, and you mentioned there, the coaches would communicate to you as a team. What were the biggest things that you could take away from your time at North Toronto, and then taking that into your your playing game now, and even your personal life as well? Those things that you take away about soccer being a team game and those education points, what are they and what sticks with you?
Yeah, I think just like a big thing I took away is like it takes like everyone, it's a team effort. It's everyone needs to be playing their best, everyone needs to be at 100% in order for like the team to do well, the team to succeed. And I think we had a lot of success when our team was like everyone was playing their best. And even if you're not on the field, it takes every single player, it takes all the staff, it takes everyone to make sure that we're playing our best. And then I've taken that like into my life with like everything I do now with soccer too. Like no matter what position I am, no matter what I'm doing, like everyone needs to be giving 100%.
So obviously you've changed a lot personally since when you started at North Toronto. How, as a player, what's been the key elements? You've mentioned about position changing and things, but what are the key things that individually the club has helped you on? And again, that can extend out to personal life as well. Those social skills and things that you've developed. So, what are as an individual on the field and off the field? How has the club helped develop you?
Yeah, I remember a big thing, and it was actually with Billy. What happened was the other team was trying to actually like, get in my head and stuff and say things to me, and I remember like being upset. We ended up losing the game, and Billy talked to me after the game, and he was just saying how like teams are gonna do that to me, and they're gonna try and mess up with my performance, mess how I'm doing. And Billy just said like I need to be ready for that, and I need to be ready to just forget about it, think about like what I'm doing on the field, and just focus on playing my game. And I've taken that with me like off the field as well, not listening to what like other people have to say and just keep doing what I want to do.
Excellent. So taking it through to the international game, you've changed or not changed your pathway, but you've left North Toronto and started playing with NDC Ontario in League One, in League One Premier Divisions in Ontario, and you've also been on the international stage as well. So tell me about how that transition took place.
Yeah, obviously that was like another like scary transition for me. It's just like leaving Leaside to come to North Toronto and then leaving North Toronto to go to NDC and then NDC to get these call ups. Like it's very scary, but I felt really prepared and I felt like I was ready for it because of first of all what North Toronto had taught me and then what NDC had taught me. So just I feel like North Toronto replicated that kind of competitive environment for me that I felt like really prepared going into it. And obviously it's super challenging and it's very professional, but I felt ready.
Good. And since then, what are the things that North Toronto Soccer gave you that have kind of helped you in that international setup and again playing with different players and developing your game to be the best it can be?
Yeah, when I was on North Toronto, I had like opportunities to play up with like the '04 team, so playing up with like older age groups was really beneficial for me. And then even around provincial time, we had I think it was a group of players who made the provincial tryouts and like all went to Downs U Dome and we all got to train. So even training with like older players of different like genders, like the male side was really competitive as well. And that really helped me prepare for like what challenging competition was going to come, as well as just like the training environments. we're just super like intense. Like it's not light, and that's exactly what it's like now too.
So, um, players at North Toronto will be wanting to follow in your footsteps now that you're in a position which you're representing the country. What would you say to people who are looking up to you?
Yeah, my like journey or my pathway was probably like different from a lot of the other players who like got the call up to the U20 team. Like a lot of people started in NDC Ontario like much earlier than I did, but I feel like this just shows like what North Toronto like created was still like good enough for you to be able to like make it to that like point and just keep like showing up, keep putting in the work every day. You're at a good place, you're in a great environment that can take you to that point. So just sticking with it.
Mm. And the new players that you've gone into, as you said, there's a tight knit group. A lot of them know each other already. How did you find it settled in? Have you made any? Have you made? I was going to say cliques, but have you kind of made friends and been welcomed in?
Yeah, like when I joined right away, it's very welcoming. Like everyone knows we see each other Monday to Friday at like for 2 hours at least at training, and then more we go to the gym as well and games, and we see each other a lot. Like we become a family. So everyone like knows you're getting welcome into the family, and that's exactly what it felt like. And then especially being away on these like call ups and spending time with them every night, like we just hang out and we get to know each other better, and I think that really helped me build friendships as well.
So let's talk about the recent international call up. Obviously, a massive achievement. When you got the note or the message, how did it feel?
Yeah, I was just super excited when I found out. I was like shocked because we're also like the younger, it's like 04, 05. So I was just like super excited, and it was just like I was motivated and I was ready. And I never got to participate in the last U17 CONCACAF. I joined like because that was around the time I was joining the program for NDC. But I got to participate in the World Cup. But I was really excited because I wanted to be in a CONCACAF and I wanted to play. And this time we had the two CONCACAFs, we had the qualifiers and then the championship. So it was more opportunities to play more games and get more experience.
So talk us through the tournament from a personal perspective. How did you find it being away and also having to put soccer at the forefront? And yeah, the games being very high tempo and with a lot on the line as well.
Yeah, the first big thing was, like, the timing of our games, so all of our games were at, like, 12 PM, 3 PM, which was when it was extremely hot, so that was already a challenge to just, like, make sure we had the right fitness levels for that to be able to play, like, at our best, and then as well as that, we had a bunch of, like, things, like, our first game against Jamaica actually got postponed today because of a rain delay, the field was completely flooded, so there was that too. So then we ended up staying an extra day in the Dominican, and then there was less time to rest between games. So it was like constantly on, and then we'd have training every day as well. So that was like really intense. And then the fact where we were playing Mexico in the semifinals, we ended up conceding in the 92nd to lose 2-1. But then we knew we still had a chance to qualify against Costa Rica, which was a huge game, the bronze medal game. And even that, we were down 3-2 at half and then somehow managed to score in like the 75th minute, I think, and then another extra 30 minutes of extra time to try and score another goal. And we ended up winning 5-3, which was great.
Has that taught you then never give up until the end?
Yeah, don't stop.
And I can see you've got medals behind you. Are they a reminder to you every morning when you wake up what you're there to do?
Yeah, exactly. I wake up, they're right here. My mom actually put them up for me when I got back from this past one, and they're just from like a bunch of things like Team Ontario when we went to Canada Games, a lot of stuff from World's Cup as well.
Who do you look up to?
I'd say on the female side, I know it might be a bit of a basic answer, but Jessie Fleming for sure. Also, just because she's my position, like my, I'd say number one position, attacking mid. But yeah, she is just such like a creative player, and I did get the opportunity to play with her once, which was really really cool. But yeah, what she does and like she's an inspiration to like all young soccer players. But I definitely say like I really look up to her.
Good. And would you hope to be a role model to people one day?
That would be really cool. Hopefully, I can get to that level at one point, but yeah.
What are your aspirations? Have you set targets and deadlines to hit things by? What's your biggest dream really?
I think for me, like the next step is making this next U20 World Cup. That would be cool. I'm going off to university, right? So just making sure I keep performing and doing well so that I could get looked at again for that next roster. And then making the senior team one day would obviously be really cool as well. And possibly like playing overseas in Europe, like maybe in Italy. I have family out in Italy, so it'd be cool.
And although you're moving away and you're um, going to be spending time in another club now, do you still keep in touch with your pals at North Toronto, the friends that you've made, and yeah, checking on each other?
Yes, of course. My, like, best friend, Courtney Poon, she's on North Toronto, and I still talk to her every single day, and then Billy will always, like, reach out after, like, an accomplishment and just, like, congratulate me and stuff, and I definitely like to go watch games still at Downsview, like, the environment there is great at the games, everyone's really supportive, so I definitely still stay in touch.
So in summary, then, why should people uh, think about North Toronto soccer when they're joining, be it a participation level, recreation level, or they want to move more competitive?
Well, no matter what level you wanna play at, you're gonna get exactly what you want at North Toronto because they provide exactly what you're looking for. So for me, I was looking for a competitive program, and that's exactly what they did. They provide that for you, and they do what's best for you, what's best for the team, what's best for, like, the entire club, and they will give you and provide you with the opportunities that you want.
Fantastic. And lastly, I think one more question. Um, your North Toronto, slowly you'll be progressing into hopefully professional game. What having been a part of the club for so long, do you feel that there'll always be a family element, and you're never lost, and there's always a place to go back to?
Yeah, no, 100%. Like, North Toronto, like, will always be my, like, family from the start, and I know, like, I'd always feel welcomed, like, there, and even at the field, just when I go, like, seeing all the coaches and, like, the players, they're super friendly, will always say hi still, like, everything about it is great at North Toronto.